Hey, aloha. Welcome, everyone. It's the Caring Caregiver Show brought to you by Givers Guides. Oh, wait, right there, this hand. There you go. Brought to you by Givers Guides Online Magazine. And Givers Guides, of course, is a caregivers guide to caregiving. So Givers Guides is written exclusively for caregivers from a caregiver's point of view. So gosh, get your subscription now. Don't even wait. Do it during the show. You can multitask. We're women. We're caregivers. Doggone it. We can do that. Just go to giversguides.com where, you can also look at some past issues if you like and do that. So get your subscription, get logged in, get informed, get resourced. And so today is February 8th. Man, this month is flying by. And we are in the month of love. That's right. It is a love month. And it is actually, we're changing that to the self-love month. So for caregivers everywhere listening, I want you all to be focused on self-love this month. I'm Savvy. Hi, I'm the founder of Give Me a Break. And Give Me a Break, which you all know, is a nonprofit organization that's caring for caregivers. And each week, we're here to help you to survive. So you can check out our website. That's also on the screen, gab808.org, or give us a call at 808-754-3787. Not now, not during the show. We're live. Call me later. And you can get more information. Just really go on the website, check it out. And we know you're tired. We know you're frustrated because we're caregivers, just like you. And we know what it's like. So we're here to give you a break each week on this Caring Caregiver Show to give you support. Break in the form of resources. There's some amazing guests today. And also, Give Me a Break, we do support sessions weekly. So we have 2 different weekly support sessions that you can attend. You can come on Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. This is all Hawaii Standard Time. And also Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. So if you're on the continental U.S. or anywhere else in the world, join us on a Saturday morning because that time is a lot easier sometimes to get to, depending on where you are. And if not, then the 8 p.m. Tuesday evening, see what it's like in your time zone and join us. All you have to do is go on to Zoom, enter 808. That's our phone number, 808-754-3787 as the meeting ID, and bang, you're on a support session with a group of caregivers just like you. We're not professionals. We just get together and we help each other survive by sharing tips and tricks and get through our day. So connect to a community of caregivers. That's what we're here for. And this month, we're actually discussing tips for caregiver survival. So perfect time for you to join in. We just talked about accepting help. That's a big one for caregivers. So that was a really good session we had last night. All right. And so again, it is that self-love month. And our February issue of Givers Guides is just chock full of ways for you to self-love. In fact, if you go and get that issue, you look on that last page, the activity for this month is 28 days of self-love. And so things you can do every day to self-love. In fact, I think today was give yourself flowers. So just go out in the yard and pick a flower and give it to yourself. You don't have to wait for somebody to give you flowers. You can self-love. And so we're not telling you to be egotistical. We're not telling you to run off and, think that you're the best all the time. We're saying that it's okay to care about your wellness and to love yourself and to really take pride in that in a good way. So get yourself a flower today, whether you buy it, pick it, grow it, do something just for you. All right. Also, this Saturday, just take time to talk about this today. Right now is at Windward Mall, excuse me, at our safe space. And you all know our safe space there at Windward Mall. Come down and join us this Saturday. We are going to be moving. Not sure quite where we're going yet, but we are going to be leaving our space at Windward Mall. Really sad. However, for the really great reason, the Aloha Diaper Bank did get their grant, and we're so happy for them. And so they are expanding, which means they'll get more diapers on more babies and more kupuna. So it's a wonderful thing, and we're really happy for them. But they've outgrown us in that sense, and so we have to find a new space, and we are looking. So we'll let you know that hopefully throughout the month. So we're doing our last pamper session this Saturday, you guys, our last one at our Windward Mall location. And so come by this Saturday, 11 to 3, anytime, just saunter in, take a break, come get pampered. We've got some me time, got meditations, massage, all for caregivers. Remember that statistic that 30% of caregivers pass before their caree. Your wellness matters. Self-love matters. And I'm also going to take a quick moment because we lost one of our own. One of our volunteers at Give Me a Break, amazing, amazing person, so kind and so giving, we have lost her, and she has passed. And she was a caregiver survivor, and she's one of the 30% that didn't make it. So complications after her caree passed led her to have complications, and she passed this past week. So to Julie, Kawi, Akana, we will miss you, and we take a moment of silence for you. Okay, thank you, everyone. And then bear in mind also that that percentage goes up to 70% for those of you caregivers over the age of 70. So I'm not even joking about how much your wellness matters. We are serious. This is something very important. You really need to make it a point to take care of yourself. So come down, see us this Saturday, and start there if you have to. Or if you want to start small, go get a flower, put it in your hair, and just do something special. It's a small little thing, but little things matter. All right. Okay, so come down and see us. Oh, and we are doing a little giveaway too. So if you come to our pamper session, you can enter to win a bath set, which is just an amazing thing. And it's in the big heart-shaped box. And it's a wonderful self-love gift that you can get for yourself. All right. Okay, so we have just 3 amazing guests today. What a show. Let's get on with it. Our first guest, I'm really excited about. Well, I'm excited about all of them, I won't lie, but I'm really excited about our first guest because, you guys, 1 minute of organization can save you hours of chaos. And that's from me. I don't know if she'll agree with me, but she'll probably tell you. And so today, we're welcoming a special guest who's helping us to be organized. And she's been on Fox 35, HSN, Healthy You, even LinkedIn Learning. I want to welcome a very special guest today, Susanna Kay. Hi, Susanna.
Hello. Welcome.
Aloha. You are
I'm glad to be here.
organizer and paper organizing specialist.
Yes.
And I want to talk about that. But, with every guest, I want to first ask to tell us your caregiving story.
Absolutely. I have not yet had to be a primary caregiver, although I'm sure it's coming down the road very soon with my parents. But as a professional organizer for more than 15 years, I've worked one-on-one for long extended periods of time with many caregivers and trying to help them create a more efficient space, communicate with their people who are assisting, if they have in-home help, moving the dependent back and forth to various places. And it's just such a huge job that it's something that I've focused on a lot within my business.
So you understand that, and you know what that's like, especially with a caregiver. You don't have that kind of time. Who has that kind of time to, put everything into little containers and that's kind of the visual that we get, right? It's funny. We were talking in our session last night about a few of the caregivers in our community are dealing with dementia related illnesses, and how hoarding comes into that. And we talked about that. And I told them, you got to watch today's show because we have an expert coming in to tell you all about that. And so tell me a little bit more about that. A paper organizer and a professional organizer. How do you do that when you're a caregiver?
When you're a caregiver, I mean, we all know that you have pretty much zero time, and the time that you do have, you have no energy left, right? And you need both time and energy to organize. So the best thing you can do as a caregiver is to break it down into small steps. Just take little tiny bites at a time. So when we think about organizing, most of the time we think about doing an organizing project. And, that could be an hour or more long, organize the pantry or, file all of the papers.
Yeah.
And while that would be nice, most of us don't have both the time and the energy at the same time in that large of a chunk. So a lot of times when that's on your to-do list, you're putting it off because you're waiting for that mystery time block to show up and nothing to go wrong.
And it never does.
And it never does. No, the second that you think that you've got it on your calendar, something happens and it's gone.
Yeah.
So if you can break it down into the tiniest of smallest steps, then you can make significant progress on your project, even if it's only 5 minutes a day. If you could redo your entire paper organizing system and sort through all of the old papers that you have and redo your filing cabinets in 5 to 10 minutes a day, which that you can fit into your schedule. And even if you hate doing it, we could do anything that we hate even for 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So,
but it keeps coming too, right? So
yeah.
like, how do you kind of control? Can you control it as it comes in as well? I know you're taking out the 10 minutes and the 5 minutes every day. I do that, but my thing is that I feel like I'm riding a stationary bike because
or going backwards down the river as you're trying to row, right?
Right.
Yeah.
One step back. And so it keeps coming in. I mean, my email keeps dinging. You might even hear it ding during the interview, and so how do you keep up with that?
Absolutely. With caregivers, you have more paper than the rest of us too, I think, because of all the medical paperwork that you have and everything that comes in for 2 people. You're managing 2 households, basically. So if you can set up an incoming paper system, and actually, if you stop by my website, check out the action file. It's not something I sell. It's something I teach how to set up. But you can check out the action file, and that's great for incoming papers, especially for people who are busy. So creating your system for the incoming papers and those active papers that you need to do something with, that's step 1 of any paper organizing system. So quickly getting that system set up and then just practice using it. Any new system, it takes a little while. So if you fall off the wagon, just hop back on the wagon, restart, and it will relieve so much pressure. A lot of the times our main stress with papers, there's 2 main stresses. One, that we're going to miss something that we need to do. And it's going to get lost in the shuffle. So a lot of times we start piles because we want to keep it in sight because we're afraid that we'll miss it. And then you end up with multiple piles and you end up missing things.
Oh, no, not me. No.
Right? No, I've never been guilty of that either. I was not born organized. I'm speaking from experience.
I have piles of Post-its.
Yeah.
So
little notes to yourself. Yeah. And having that incoming paper system, you can use that actually, the action file, for the notes to yourself too, because that's the best way to keep those from floating.
I love
that. The other part is trying to make sure that you can find the important papers that you need quickly. That's the other stress that we have. So once you have your incoming papers settled and you've got your system for that, then setting up a system for those most important papers. Like I have a caregiver binder that I've created where you can put all of your most important papers and information, so they're all at your fingertips. And no matter what the rest of your papers are like, if you have years of old papers to sort through, it's not a big deal if you have your important papers and your active papers.
And I like what you said. It's not about that one-time big shot. This doesn't have to be a created event in your life. You have enough of a chaotic event going on. I love that you can take it in baby steps, one little step at a time, and then just kind of inch away at it. And I think it's better to do that than to do nothing at all.
Absolutely.
And then you end up in the hoarding category and on some TV show, and it's horrible, right?
Yeah, or just feeling miserable about yourself and your experience and feeling like you're failing. Anyway. Yeah. Right. But you're not failing. You're a caregiver. You are doing so much more than anybody else.
Yeah.
So be kind to yourself. Don't try to do it all. This is the time to cut things out, because the more you cut out, the more you have time for important things such as self-love and self-care. And spending time with your loved one, like quality time, versus doing things such as, creating little mason jars filled with dried beans. You can skip that for now, put the bean bag in the pantry. As long as you can find the beans, you can always do it later if life changes. But for now,
you're already overwhelmed. You don't need any more overwhelming activities.
And people will forgive you for not being perfect because, and if they don't, they're not your friends. So you can cut them out.
I love that. I love that. Susanna Kay, professional organizer and paper organizing specialist. You guys, her website is really simple. It's www.susannakaye.com. So you can check her out and check out her website. I know you also have something really special coming up, right?
Actually, it's going on right now. I've got
That's right. It's going on right now.
Unchallenge. So we always see challenges online where you've got something to do each day. This is an unchallenge where you've got nothing to do. It's just me sharing love with you and support and encouragement in your inbox for 1 week. So you can still sign up on my website if you go to the calendar page.
Yeah, this only started a couple days ago, you guys. So it goes on through the 12th. You can still join right in. So it doesn't have to be that, oh, I missed it. No, you can still join in right now, right?
If you miss a day, even after you've registered, it does not matter. This is for you. There's zero commitment besides just opening your inbox and having something saying that you're doing a good job.
Susanna, giving a week of your time free like that is an amazing thing. And just offering that motivation. And sometimes that's all you need, right? To be able to do a project and to get something like this going is you just need that. I always do this thing called add a caregiver, right? And I have caregivers take their hand and pat themselves on the shoulder and do an add a caregiver, and that's sometimes what you need. We don't always give ourselves that. And so for you to give of your time, that's just an amazing, amazing thing. Really shows the heart condition that you have, especially for caregivers. And those of you who might be listening that aren't caregivers doesn't mean you can't get organized as well. Susanna does help anyone.
I do. Yes.
Organized.
Focus on women. We're a community of women. Yeah.
Yes. And so that's a wonderful thing and really, really appreciate that. Was there anything else you wanted to share with our listeners today?
I would just say, recognize what you are doing. Instead of a to-do list, someday just try writing a done list and all the things that you actually did.
I love
somebody a shower. Maybe you didn't get yours. Who cares? You showered somebody else. Like, make a list and then you can really see that you are doing so much. It might not be everything on your list, but you're doing good.
I just love that. Thank you so much, Susanna. I really appreciate you coming on today. Again, you guys, it is SusannaK.com. Also, you can check out her Facebook group. If you go to Facebook groups, Home Organizing is what it's called, right? It's in Home
Organizing Challenges.
Home Organizing Challenges. Check her out on Facebook and get organized. You can do this because remember, we're running around trying to find time. Yeah. Organization will help you find that time. And then you can use that time for better things, to grow, to be better for you, to be better health-wise, to self-love. And so thank you so much for coming on today and for sharing with us. I really appreciate that. And it's been just a pleasure getting to know you. I will check in with you again, maybe later on in another season to see how things are going and share some stories with us. So thank you so much, Susanna. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you. Thanks for helping us keep it all together there, Susanna K. Just an amazing individual. And that's what this show's about, right? Bringing these resources to you, helping you to be better, to get better. There's no reason why caregiving should suddenly keep you from becoming a better person or accomplishing your mission or role in life. That doesn't mean that everything has to stop. And this is what it's all about. We're going to survive caregiving, and we're also going to bring back the joy of caregiving. And so I want to ask you a question today. For those of you who are listening in live, and for those of you who will listen in later in the podcast, did you eat something today? Have you sat down and had something to eat? What was it? A candy bar, maybe? Something quick that you grabbed because you're too tired? Well, our next guest is a registered dietitian. She's also the professor of nutrition at the University of Hawaii, and she's been regularly featured on MyFitnessPal.com, MarthaStewart.com, EatThis.com, and LiveStrong.com. And she gives presentations in organizations like the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And recently, she received a mid-career award from the Nutrition Education and Behavioral Science Research Interest section of the American Society of Nutrition. I know that's a mouthful, but that's an amazing thing to do. She's also been a presenter at our Caregivers Retreat just last year. And I am truly, truly honored to welcome Janan Bana today. Aloha, Janan. Welcome. So good to have you on.
Aloha. Thank you so much for having me.
It's so good to see you since you last came to our ridiculously hot retreat where we all lost weight just by the heat alone. So lesson learned, next year our retreat will be fully air conditioned.
It was a great experience. I so much enjoyed meeting all of you.
Oh, it was so much fun. And we really benefit from your information. And I really enjoyed, I'm not going to share too much about that, but it was just, for me, I'm still using a lot of what you presented to us in the retreat. And for those of you who don't know what that is, haha, you'll have to come to our retreat this year. Hopefully we'll be able to have Janan speak with us again. And if not, maybe we'll do some sort of a presentation for our caregivers, and we can plan that for the year. But just great to have you here. And I know you have a caregiving story as well, don't you?
I do. I provide a lot of support and advice to my mother. She's getting up there in age, so definitely that presents quite a challenge. I'm a working woman, so I have plenty of things to do, but I do make time to care for her and help her with different things she struggles with. So that's my primary caregiving story. And I also, of course, work with a lot of clients who are caregivers, and I hear from them just how difficult it is to juggle everything. So I know what a struggle it can be to balance everything, and certainly appreciate what caregivers have to go through.
Yes. And I also, being a professor, that puts you in the teacher spot. And a teacher is a caregiver. And I want everyone to understand how much of a caregiver a teacher really is. Anyone who works with students or mentors in any way is a caregiver. And so I always want people to appreciate who caregivers are in the world and how much we put out there. So thank you for that and for what you do. Yeah. So tell us now. I know I had you on here today, and tell us now. You know, I introduced you by saying to caregivers if they ate today, and I bet you know how many of them probably grabbed the quick candy bar. But what are some of the things they can do? I mean, you know how hard it is for a caregiver. What can they do?
Well, I like to give people a lot of really simple suggestions as to how to eat well, things that don't take a lot of time. And I certainly use a lot of these strategies myself, as I'm a busy caregiver too. So some of these examples would be lentil pasta. This is a creative and easy way to get protein. You make your pasta in the way you normally would and add some sauce and maybe some veggies on the side that could be easily prepared. Sometimes I suggest people use frozen veggies, as then they don't have to think too much about going to the store to get the fresh veggies, and it's just an added thing to worry about when you're really rushing through the week and you don't even have time to go to the store. So you could easily, get those veggies in on the side. I like to make things like an easy bean salad. So you can buy beans that are already prepared in cartons at the store and mix them up with perhaps some chopped onion and some seasoning. And it's a really simple way to get a nutritious meal. And
Wow,
then, of course,
it's so funny, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's so funny. You're sitting here, and now are you guys hearing what she's saying? You don't have to go running out and buying a whole bunch of fresh vegetables. You can, that's good too. But there's really, and this is, I think, something that people need to hear, is that there's great nutrition even in frozen or canned vegetables. Am I correct?
certainly true. Yeah, you do have to be a little bit cautious, because particularly with regards to the canned, because they can have a lot of added salt. If we're talking about fruit, there can be a lot of added sugar. So you do want to read the ingredients and be cognizant. But with a lot of the frozen vegetables, the only ingredient is the vegetable. Sometimes I buy the frozen broccoli, and it's quite a good, easy, nutritious option.
I love that. I love that. And right now, too, it's getting harder and harder to get fresh vegetables in the store. So, what a great option. And I also hear you saying to make things ahead. And so you don't have to cook it on the spot. If it's made ahead, then put it in smaller, maybe portions or something. And so when you grab and go, you're not grabbing something that's unhealthy.
Definitely true. And I like to take advantage of little bits of time in my day. So if I have a little break, maybe I prep whatever it is. I chop up my vegetables, or I get my sauce prepared. That way, at the point I need to prepare my meal, maybe it's nighttime and I'm ready to eat, I have all the components ready. I throw it together, I make it. So it's all about really optimizing time and finding these easy ways to eat well.
I love that. I love that. Right. I hear a lot about refrigerator oats. Is that good?
Oh, you're talking about overnight oats.
Yeah, that's it. Overnight
Mhm.
oats. Is
Mhm.
that a good thing?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that's a great way to get your breakfast prepared. I like to do a lot of prep the night before, because it's, busy oftentimes in the morning. You're rushing to get out the door. So you can put together a simple little container of oats and milk, or plant-based milk, whatever you prefer, nuts, fruit, and store it in the fridge. And it's a great way to get your fiber in the morning.
So you don't have to cook oats.
Yeah, you can do a nice soaking overnight, and
Wow.
eat in the morning. So definitely
I
an
mean,
easy
it's just, it
way.
seems like such a simple thing, but I never knew that. It's like I grew up with the old, you know, cylindrical paper Quaker Oats box. I don't even know if they still sell it like that. And I know I'm showing my age, but and you had to get up and then you had to measure it and then you had to put it into the pan and you had to cook it up and a certain amount of time. And then you added your milk and your fruit or whatever, and you had to cut up. It seemed like such a process. And I've just been hearing people keep telling me, just put it in the refrigerator. And I had no idea, even at my age, I had no idea you could do something like that. So I think that's a great thing to do. Just and I'm an oat milk person. So you just throw a little oat milk and some oats in the fridge, and that's the shot. You got oatmeal. You can grab it like you grab a candy bar. I
Yep.
mean, did they put chocolate chips in it? Sure, they could, right? That's a piece.
Everything in moderation, of course.
I love that. Well,
Have to get your
I
treats in.
love, and I think that's the solution, right? Is that take things in bits. You don't have to prepare an entire meal. It's similar to what we were talking about with Susanna, and this seems to be the theme today. Is it's not about doing everything one time and creating this whole event to cook a meal. Do a little at a time. I love that you take advantage of your moments to chop vegetables. Okay, put that away. And I just recently discovered this, and again, these aha moments that are happening. It doesn't have to happen, when you were young and cooking for a family. Here I am now, and I'm finding out that things are not lasting, so they go bad if you don't use it. Green onions has always been one of my big ones. But did you know that if you chop it up and put it in an airtight bag, it'll last like 2 times the amount of time that if you just threw them in the refrigerator? I'm like, and now I have chopped green onion all the time. I just open the bag, put some out, close the bag, put it back in the refrigerator. So things like that, I guess, help.
Yep, there are all sorts of little tricks. So I like to, think about non-perishable items that I can have in my cabinet as well, and also keep things that freeze well in the freezer for some time. That way I just have things on hand and I don't have to be thinking so much about going shopping all the time.
Yeah. Now, and I know that your presentation that you did at our retreat was just amazing, but you do these all the time, right? You have different types of presentations and you have different types of classes and you teach that you do for free, right? Information on weight loss or plant-based eating. You have a blog, I believe, and just lectures that you do. How can they just go to your website to get more information about attending those? Are those on Zoom? Are they in person? Can you just elaborate on that more? Because I think that's really important for our caregivers.
Sure. Many of my presentations are on YouTube, so I do some through Blue Zones, and so I believe they have uploaded those to YouTube, and that's a great way to get all of that content. I've talked about drinks, desserts, and snacks, and reading the food label, and I have lots of topics there, so that's a great way to do that. Sometimes I do post on social media if I have something upcoming, if there's something for the public, so I would say that's a good way as well. I'm on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, so that was Blue Zone is what they look for when they go on YouTube?
Yeah, if they search my name, I think they should come up. I've been sent the links for all of those presentations as I give them. So if they have any trouble finding them, they can feel free to email me as well.
All right, you guys. So it's info at Janan Bana. So that's JINANBANNA.com. So info at JananBana.com. And I do have a phone number here. I don't know if you want me to give that. I guess I can give it out. It's 601-207-4246. And it's on the screen for those of you who are watching. So take your screenshot now, because I know you're going to have a million questions. And we did. And you kind of gave away a little bit of what you talked about with the food labels. And I loved your presentation on food labels, because now I look at everything differently. When I shop, it takes me, I'm like reading the label. I have to turn and look at the label on everything. And I love that you made it so easy and so just, it's not so complicated. You kind of demystified the food label. And I love that and what to look for. So it was a really great presentation. And I know that she can help you understand that as well. So caregivers, great information for you. You don't have to grab that that candy bar. And, maybe there are some healthy ones that you can grab. So talk to Janan about that if that's what you have to do. But your health and wellness is super important. And remember, if something happens to you, then who's going to take care of everyone? No one. So we can't let that happen. Your diet, your exercise, everything is all very important. Your nutrition means everything. So you're not just there to make sure the nutrition of the ones you're caring for happen, but yourself as well. Anything else you want to share with us before I let you? I'm so honored that you took time to be on, and I could just talk to you all day. But before I let you get back to your busy schedule.
Thank you so much for having me. And I could share that I have a free guide for healthy weight loss on my website, which is just my name.com. So jananbana.com. And you can feel free to download it and take a look at the basic content I have there for people who would like to lose weight.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes. So you guys go on to jananbana.com. And as you can see, if you're looking at the banner, it says Janan info at, but just take that last section, jananbana.com, and check out her website. So that's a great source of information. I hope you all check out. And thank you again. Be well. And thank you so much for sharing with us. And I just totally appreciate your shared knowledge and that you're always so willing to come and talk to our caregivers. Really appreciate it. Good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Have a great day. Aloha.
You too. Aloha.
Great. Wow. So big mahalo to Janan for helping us caregivers to really see the importance and the simplicity of a good diet and eating well. It's not that hard to do, you guys. You just, I love that we've been talking about this because this is really about you taking advantage of moments, making mindful moments in your life. And as a caregiver, we have to take those moments. In fact, I forgot to pull it up, but I'm just going to take a moment too right now to remind you to get your subscription to Giver's Guides, go to that inside back cover and look at the 28 days of self-love and start that because you've got some catching up to do. And so that 28 days of self-love, super important. Those will help you to get through this month and to really set a standard for yourself to take moments in your day, just little moments. And if you can take a moment to pick a flower for yourself, you can take a moment to throw something, pre-cook some pasta and throw it in the refrigerator. Who knew pasta was healthy, right? It is. And you can take a moment to throw some oats in the fridge overnight and you have them in the morning. So all of those little things will make a big difference in your day, all of those moments. And, maybe in all of those moments, you need a little more information, a little more motivation. And we've had Susanna who's there to motivate you. In fact, our next guest, who I actually had to pre-record earlier, she and I had a wonderful conversation with her that I'll share with you, is a certified health and life coach. So maybe you need motivation from a coach, a life coach. And this is somebody who actually specializes in supporting only caregivers. So Kaylee Johnson, I want to welcome her, and please enjoy this pre-recorded video. Kaylee, right? And I'm not saying it incorrectly. It's Kaylee, not Kali or Callie. My name is Savvy, and it's Savvy, I don't know. There's all kinds of ways to pronounce it. But so Kaylee, absolutely. Kaylee Johnson, welcome. I'm so glad to have you on the Caring Caregiver Show. And I believe you were a guest once before, weren't you?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
was back when both Evan and I were doing the show, and
Mhm.
gosh, that's so wonderful memories. And I enjoyed having you so much. I wanted to have you up again on our show. And also, I think it's important to update our caregivers because there's so much that happens in such a short time, especially when you're in the wellness arena. And, being that you are, that you are a certified health and life coach, I think it's all super important, especially this month being the month of what we're calling self-love, because everybody has Valentine's Day, but we're encouraging caregivers to self-love this month and to embrace that. And so it's the perfect time to have you come on and talk about what they could do and some suggestions, and you're gonna have some wonderful things to talk about, I know. But first off, what I ask everybody is to really talk about your caregiving experience and what is your caregiving story?
Well, kind of my background is, like you had said, is a health and life coach. But before that, I've been a caregiver professionally for over 25 years. Um, I have my degree in human services. I've been a foster parent, worked in all sorts of caregiving roles, like professionally in my career. But most recently, I was one of the caregivers for my 92-year-old grandmother. Um, and so because of my experience with caregivers, caregivers are very near and dear to my heart. And I feel like I can really relate with their unique struggles.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've covered the caregiving gambit right there. You sort of hit every kind of possible caregiver that there is. And that's another thing that we talk about all the time is we're trying to really get people to understand who a caregiver is, which is why I asked that. You know, a lot of people assume that a caregiver is just somebody who's either a care worker or cares for a family member. And there are so many caregivers out there, and we want them all to embrace this self-love that we're talking about. So what you do to inspire caregivers and to help caregivers. Tell us about what it is that you do for caregivers.
Yeah. So the reason why I became a health and life coach is because of my experience of being coached. And it was so transformational for me that I knew it wasn't unique to me, that it would be available to anybody. And I wanted to learn how to do that and to share what was shared with me with other people. So that's why I went back to school and got my training to be a health and a life coach. So when I did that, then I needed to decide who did I want to support. And that's when I chose to specifically support caregivers, because caregivers are so underserved. And there isn't a lot of resources out there for caregivers. And since I knew like I said, their unique challenges, I really have developed my programs to be specifically for caregivers.
Which is amazing. And you know, the thing too is like no caregiver ever thinks that they need to be coached. You know, they think I'm in survival mode. I'm in chaos. You know, I don't even think that. Why wouldn't you need coaching? Those are the very reasons why you need someone who's there for you, who can guide you, who can, you know, help you. We do this all the time, just to breathe.
Yes. Yeah.
In its most simplistic form. And I love when you talk about your coaching practice and that you call it spark your journey. I love that. Tell me a little bit more about what made you come up with spark. That word spark is such a great, especially for caregivers, you know, because they lose sight of their whole dream and mission in life. And so tell me, how does that word spark apply?
It really is about, when I talk to caregivers, when I meet with caregivers, it's like they have written on some dotted line that they've like lost their own identity in this role, which I can definitely relate with myself. And so just wanting to show them that there is more. You can be a caregiver and have your own life too. Will you have to do things differently? Will we have to think differently and get support? Absolutely. But it's so worth getting support, because it's so worth getting your life back. Like, this can be an and instead of an or. And I
love that.
The or.
I love that. I love that. That's true. It is an and it's not an or. You can still retain your identity.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? And that's something we talk about too all the time, is that, you know, caregivers become invisible.
Yes.
And just the isolation's bad enough, but then you become invisible and there's no more identity and you lose yourself.
Right.
All the
and
more
I always ask caregivers, like, who are you besides the caregiver? Like, who is savvy outside of the caregiver, you know? And oftentimes, including myself included, I was like, that's my identity now. And so really recognizing that's can be part of us, but we're also much more than that. And with support, we can connect in that way. But without support, we're back to the survival mode. We're just surviving. We are not thriving.
Right. We are. And we're just barely surviving at that. So I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but something that I'm just preaching is that the statistic currently is that 30% of caregivers do not survive their the person they're caring for. So they pass before their caree. And that is a scary, scary statistic. And of course, if you're over the age of 70, that percentage shoots up to 70%. And a lot of this is caregiver burnout, and it's depression and losing yourself. So all the more reason that a caregiver needs somebody who will coach them back into existence, relight that spark in their eye, right? So tell me, how does, give me like a step-by-step. How would this play out? I'm a caregiver. I'm a mess. And I kind of am. I'm a caregiver and I am kind of a mess. But I saw this show and I'm like, Kaylee, help me. What do I do? What's my first step?
Yeah. Well, and just touching base really quickly on what you had previously said too, like around caregivers get sick at a much higher rate than non-caregivers. And that's why I want to intervene before that happens, to be that, learn how to be that proactive caregiver in your own life, because most caregivers I meet, let's say I don't have time for myself, I don't have time for self-care, but I always ask them, then who is going to take care of your loved one when you are now sick? Because the statistics show that caregivers get sick at a much higher rate than non-caregivers. So and the caregiver burnout is a serious medical condition.
It is real.
So really bringing awareness to that this is really actually happening. And then like you said, now what? Now that's great news. Now what do I do? And so really just connecting with me through my various, I have a website, I have a Facebook group, but then we really meet together, and my programs are about teaching people how their brains work, which you might not think, but giving them the owner's manual so they can have their brains work for them instead of against them. And in for an example, like resentment and guilt, that's one of the things that so many of us caregivers can relate with. Well, why am I feeling this way? Well, we get to learn how to be the observer of our thoughts and see that we're actually separate from them.
Right.
And my clients learn that their thoughts actually create how they're feeling. So if I'm feeling resentment and I'm feeling guilt, it's what am I thinking? And it's very empowering to learn this, because we have much more control of our reality than we're led to believe.
Yes.
And so that part is really, really amazing. But the other part is they learn how to digest and process feelings and emotions. And they also learn how to manage their minds and be in charge of them, manage their minds and emotions and be in charge of them. And then we spend a lot of time learning about how our beliefs are running 95% of our lives. It's our subconscious, and it's in charge 95% of the time. So they learn a step-by-step process of installing new beliefs intentionally that support them. But that might sound really hard, but it's not. It's baby steps. And all of my clients report, I can't believe how easy that was. Like, I thought that was going to be so hard. And a lot of it is just thinking new things, like while you're in the shower or while you're making coffee or while you're driving. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I have to take this whole course. It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's about you and I sitting down and you telling me what do you want to change. It's not me coming to you.
I totally support that, because that's exactly what the caregiver needs. This is exactly what every caregiver needs, is to just have those mindful moments where they can make decisions and know that just because your life is in chaos and just because you don't have time and you're exhausted for what you're currently doing in caregiving doesn't mean that you can't take a moment out that's going to make a difference for you. It's going to make a difference for you, and it's going to change everything. And I love that you just said that, because that's exactly what then coaching becomes, is helping you to change that thinking correctly, because then you think everything in your life is chaos just because caregiving's chaos.
But then it becomes the truth.
Yes.
That becomes the truth, because it's those self-fulfilling prophecies that it's not just something people say, it's actually true. Our life is a reflection of what we believe. So if we believe we're never going to get help can come and sit right next to us on the bench and we won't see it. I saw it last week with a client, and we were able to shift her belief. And then she was able to not have all the barriers and all the limitations of why that help wouldn't work. The help actually would work, but since she didn't hold the belief that it would work, it was never going to happen.
Yeah, she was manifesting failure. It's,
Yes.
I mean, and we all do that, right? Every
Yes,
caregiver. I'm not saying it's wrong because I did it. I was
our
in
brains are
depression.
wired this way.
Yes, and it's
But
just it's survival mode.
it is. But the
And
great news is that literally with neuroscience, this is what backs all of what I teach, is that we can rewire those neural pathways. And
I
so,
firmly support that. We do that. We do little mini exercises in our
yeah,
sessions that we have weekly as well. And I help them to try to just sort of change that thinking, because if you look at something from a different angle, and everything's
yeah,
about perspective, and that can change everything, right? But if you're
mhm,
depressed and you're exhausted and you're caregiving and you've been wiping up poop all day and you're
yeah,
done, and it's hard to get out of that
mhm,
headspace, but you can, and your brain and your body are capable of doing that. I love that you can coach someone to do
mhm.
that correctly. I mean, I just love what you do, and I love your attitude towards it. And I think every caregiver should be tuning in and learning from you.
And it's also about building those healthy boundaries. So
Yes,
if someone is completely exhausted running on fumes, they're not going to be able to have a shift in mind or learn new
yeah,
things because we're just surviving or barely surviving.
yeah.
But
And we think,
the
I can't take it. I just can't take it. I don't want to hear it. Right? It's
Mhm,
that shutdown.
yeah, but really building healthy boundaries and giving ourselves permission, because I know for me, if I wasn't completely exhausted, running on fumes,
Right.
feeling that way, then I didn't even allow myself to have a rest or allow myself to step away.
Yeah.
And so recognizing that I was standing in my own way of doing that. And really, we have blind spots. Everybody does. That's why even coaches have coaches, because we all have our own blind spots. I'm sure you've seen it before with a loved one or a friend having a problem, and you could see it clearly, but they were just too close to it.
Like the
And
light
so,
of day, right? Yeah.
yes. And so really having someone there to help you see your blind spots. And my coach always says it's like being inside the bottle and have someone reading the outside of the bottle for you, the label,
I
or
love
being
that.
inside the frame and being in the picture. You can't see the picture now because you're in the frame.
Yeah. Yes, I love that. And it's so true, because there are so many things in life, and that we can compare that to. There's so many things in life that from the inside they all look the same,
Mhm,
but from the outside they all look very different.
mhm.
So it helps you perspective. It's everything. And I love that you can help caregivers, especially, and that's your focus, to do that. Right.
Mhm. And
It's amazing.
it's so much fun. It is so amazing. I absolutely love what I do because I get to watch them show up for themselves. And then they're super excited. Then they have that spark back in there where we're coming to meet for our sessions every week, and they are excited. They are telling me, but we're connecting just for an hour during the week, but they're doing all of the things, but it's because they haven't showed up for themselves this way before.
Yeah. And I love the way that you brought out too, that help could be sitting right next to you, but you don't do anything about it. And a lot of it too is, again, that guilt. They don't feel they deserve it, right? And caregivers feel like, I know I felt that way. I felt like, oh, I have to do a good job. I have to prove myself.
Mhm,
And that's again why I love your term, which is spark your journey, because our life is a journey. Caregiving is just a stop on that journey.
mhm,
And we
mhm.
can, and that's why I say we're going to bring back the joy of caregiving.
Yeah.
It's because you can change the way that caregiving stop or that pause in your life is, and it's temporary, and
Mhm,
it's not your whole life, and there's more to it, and that can become part of your life. It can be integrated and still have joy in you and celebrate you.
mhm.
And I love that that's what you do. I think
Yeah.
I'm getting this right?
Yes, absolutely. And
Absolutely adore it.
I can relate with that as well. Like even during COVID, when everything and things were going on with my grandma, and I had really painted myself in a corner where now my loved one only wanted me to go to the doctor with her. She only wanted me to give her a bath.
Right.
And so now I was exposed to COVID and I couldn't go. No one else knew how to set up meds. No one else knew how to do all the things. No one else knew she wasn't comfortable with someone else doing the things. So when I was trying to do all the things, that wasn't even helpful for her or for me.
Yeah.
Because for one, it didn't let me step away and have a break for a minute because I didn't believe that I should or give myself that permission.
Right.
But it also was hard on her then because it wasn't an easy transition where we just did it a little bit. It was like, now this is happening for 2 weeks and I can't talk, I can't see you, you know.
My goodness. Yeah, that's horrifying. Yes. And I love that you have a life experience too. You know, that's something we talk about as well, is that all of our guests are caregivers, and everyone that we talk to and try to bring in as a resource and to share with our caregivers are all caregivers and understand your journey and what you're going through. So I just love that. Thank you so much for everything you do. That's amazing. Now I know that you also wanted to share a little love on Self-Love Month, and I know you wanted to share a little love with our caregivers. So you have a little special offer and something for our community as well, right?
Yes, I do. And I love the self-love because that is number one. I mean, every single one of my clients goes through a self-love journey. And it's so empowering because, I mean, we're superheroes at caring, at loving, at doing the things, but shifting it onto ourselves. That doesn't mean that someone else is going to suffer. That just means that we're sharing it with ourselves as well. So, so really like flipping the script on it. And oftentimes initially people are like, well, I can't do that. But it's like, when you give yourself a break, that's self-love. When you sit down and read a chapter of your book, that's self-love.
Yes.
When you do that, it's not just about, or even self-care, like getting your hair and nails done. It definitely can be, but it's so much more than that. It's about showing yourself compassion when you had a bad moment and maybe you said something you didn't mean.
Forgiving yourself, laughing
Yes,
at yourself,
yes.
and enjoying a moment, smelling a flower, it's so simple, but
Yeah.
self-love isn't selfish. We're not talking about becoming an egotistic maniac or a narcissist. We're talking about caring enough about yourself
Yeah.
to see that you're the most important person in a caregiving equation.
Mhm.
And that's really what self-love is all about.
So yeah, so if we are not a priority in our own life, then that part doesn't happen. And really, teaching people when they hear that, caregivers in particular want to just plug their ears because that sounds just so selfish. But in reality, that's how we become the best versions of ourselves to be able to care for others.
Yes. Yep. And so you actually have something coming up, don't you? You have a
Yes.
event
So
coming up. I want to talk about that. It's a 5-day event, correct?
yes, it's a 5-day caregiver masterclass, and it's burnout to breakthrough.
Love
and
that.
where
Did you hear that, you guys? Burnout to breakthrough. Okay, not burnout till you become a statistic. It's burnout
Yes.
to breakthrough. That's a masterclass for you. I love that.
where my goal is and my mission is for really people to have breakthroughs in their thoughts, in their mindsets, through different examples, through actual strategies that I teach, and that I just really want them to walk away with. And then each day we have really easy action steps, and then there's even fun prizes. So really get people excited to show up, to participate. And it's all free inside of my Facebook group. It's called The Healthy Caregiver. And if you go there, you can register right there in my Facebook group. And like I said, it's all free. But it's really fun and exciting. And you have also Caregiver Connection, because the videos are live, but there are replays available as well if you can't catch them
so
live.
You can do it if you can't make the times, right?
Yep.
So that's going to come up February 20th through the 24th. You guys,
Correct.
Make sure that you slot out some time and get on Kaylee's Facebook, get on the group, go to the Healthy Caregiver on Facebook and join the group so you could keep up with what's coming. And you can, I know you've probably got great tips and tricks anyway that you do on your Facebook group, but also make sure that you get in on this 5-day event. It's free, and take advantage of this, because caregivers, you need it. We need it. And you know what? Help just came and sat down next to you and gave you a great big hug. So hug help back.
Yes. And it's just another form of self-love to yourself,
it really is.
to allow yourself to be supported.
To do that. Yeah. Because caregivers need that. They really do. Yep.
Yeah.
And then also, I think you have a little other surprise, I think, too, right?
Yes. So a giveaway that I would love to share with your community
Oh my goodness.
is my Caregiver Blueprint session. And this session is valued at $97, but I really wanted to offer it to your audience as a gift because I love supporting caregivers and showing them what's possible instead of being married to our limitations, to really connect with them, hear their personal situation, and then let's start connecting to your possibilities and really go through a whole session. So when you're walking away, you have actual tangible steps that you're taking for the next 2 weeks.
Wow, you guys, she's offering you a caregiver blueprint session. Now that's a $97 value, you guys, to you for free. All you have to do is get a hold of her, get on your Facebook page, correct?
Yep.
And then use just message her, DM her on Facebook, and use the code. And rather than say give me a break, let's just say use code GAB. So you don't have to type it all out. Let's just make it simple. How about just typing in GAB as your promo code, and you're going to get a free caregiver burnout session with Kaylee. And I think that's unreal. That's amazing that what you're offering to a caregiver, because that's really the start. It's that first step to your own self-love, to your own journey, right? And to understand that that journey is so important and that you deserve that. You really do deserve it. And all caregivers deserve it. So thank you for that. That's an amazing offering. And again, you guys, that 5-day masterclass, don't want to miss that. So again, here's the information. Get on. You can also go to sparkyourjourney.net if you guys want to do that. But we're all on Facebook. Get on her group, The Healthy Caregiver. Just type it all out just like that, The Healthy Caregiver, and go on Facebook and join Kaylee's group. I think it'll be amazing for all of you. I am so honored to have made your acquaintance in the past and to catch up with you again and hear more about what's available to caregivers through your coaching. And I just think what you're doing is amazing. And I'm so touched and just, I love bringing the hearts together. This is the Love Month. So it's all about that and all about connecting our community and just showing that self-love's a great thing.
And I love connecting with other people that support caregivers in a different way. I love what you're doing for caregivers is absolutely amazing. And that you have your shows every week and how that's really supporting caregivers. There is support out there, which is really a great resource for caregivers. So I really thank you for that. And I also thank you for connecting me with your community. And I've been honored to just be able to share with them today.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. And again, we really appreciate it and hope that maybe we'll have you back on another time to give us more updates and keep us posted. But again, you guys don't forget, check her out, The Healthy Caregiver on Facebook with Kaylee Johnson. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us today. Aloha.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, amazing. Can you just say amazing with me, you guys? It's starting to feel like Ellen. It's like, and here's our gift. And this is for you. It's free and it's free. And it's like the giveaways are just amazing. Did you hear the bottom line of what's going on today? And again, thank you, Kaylee. It's just, now we've given you a free coach. You have a life coach to help you through caregiving. And I just love her heart and her skill. But she said it too, baby steps. So it's about that. Take those small steps, take those mindful moments, you guys, and just baby step your way to get through our caregiving journey. We can survive this. No one's saying you have to start and finish a project and do it all now. You can take it in smaller chunks that you can handle to do in between what you're doing, because those little mindful moments that you take are going to make all the difference in your caregiving journey. And at the end of the journey, you'll survive it, and you'll survive it with wellness. So that's really what we're talking about, right? So we had Susanna K. Mahalo to Susanna K, who came on, who's gifting you the unchallenge. So you don't have to worry about being challenged. This is an unchallenge, and you can join into that right now. And let me just throw, for those of you who are watching, you can take a screenshot. Where is it? Here's Susanna's information right there, right now. You're looking at Susanna's information. That's SusannaK.com, Kaye with an E, you guys, okay? And you can check her out on Facebook as well, where she has her group. Join her group. We also had Janan on today. So great to see Janan again with the University of Hawaii, professor of nutrition, and she offered you free as well. Free videos to watch and free information. Just contact her. Info at Janan Bana, right there, that easy. You get free information about nutrition and how to do that from a caregiver's point of view. We got you covered. And then just now, of course, we talked with Kaylee Johnson, the Healthy Caregiver on Facebook. Go join her group. She's got a free masterclass for you. I mean, it's free, you guys. Just take advantage of it. You know, in this time, we all need that. Resources for caregivers, abso-freaking-lutely. We got you right here. We got you right here. And we're not even messing around. You're going to be organized, you're going to eat well, and you're going to have a coach doing it the whole time. It just makes caregiving like something everyone should want to do, right? We're bringing back the joy of caregiving. And also remember, I've got free support sessions for you twice a week on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m. Just join in. That's all Hawaii Standard Time. That doesn't mean you can't join in. Join our sessions, get connected to community because we've got that support for you as well. That's a great break you can give yourself right on your phone. You're sitting right next to your carry, put in an earphone, listen in, comment if you want, but just join a community that's there to support one another. And again, all this is on the calendar of the Giver's Guides. You know what else? I know we're running behind. I know we're running late, you guys. That's okay. I just wanted to see if I could show you this real quick. Gosh, I don't know if I can. Never mind. It's not. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Yes, I got it. Okay, it's up. Maybe you can see it now. There's the 28 days of caregiver self-love. Screenshot it, do it, or just get your subscription, okay? How do I stop share? There you are. I'm back. I did it. All right. So do that. Today is buy yourself some flowers. Tomorrow, do something you love. So even if it's a small thing, I know you might love taking a whole day off, but then give yourself a moment to breathe. Just do something you love just for a moment. Okay. And gift yourself that. I told you we got an amazing season 8 is like the best. We've got an amazing season for you. And joining me next week with my special guest co-host, Christy Pickrell from Our Little Peace of Mind is going to be helping me and speaking with Dr. Connie Siskowski, who's the founder and president of the American Association of Caregiving Youth. This is a nonprofit organization here in the United States that's dedicated to supporting, helping, and empowering caregivers who are in middle school and high school. That's right. It's like you'll see our new background there. We've got Asia, who's a sandwich caregiver. We've got a lot out there who've had to drop out of school because they're caring for somebody. And so their whole mission is that no child should drop out of school because of family caregiving responsibilities. Really great guest next week. Tune in, join us live, of course, next week and every Wednesday at noon on the Caring Caregiver Show, which is brought to you by Give Me a Break. And of course, mahalo to our sponsor, Giver's Guides. So don't worry if you miss this live. You can always check us out on podcast a week later on Spotify, Apple, or any platform that you use. Just search Caring Caregiver Show or go to our website, which I will get up there right now for you. There it is. Go to our website. Caring Caregiver Show right there. Okay. CaringCaregiverShow.com. Check it out. Or you can even go to our YouTube channel, the Caring Caregiver live show. And please, any of those, anytime you go on, please follow us, subscribe. The more you do that, the more we'll get out in the faces of the caregivers. Okay. And don't forget to, last but not least, coming up, our second annual Hawaii Caregivers Expo will be in March, the last Saturday in March on the 25th at the Windward Mall from 9 to 5. Go to our website, gab808.org for more information. And it's going to be a wonderful resource fair for caregivers. So great opportunity for you to speak with resources. Okay. In the meantime, you guys remember, breathe. Give yourself an added caregiver, take a breath, And here's hoping that you're finding more joy in caregiving each week as you tune into the Caring Caregiver Show. Thanks for joining us. And please always be kind to yourself and to everyone who's caring, any caregiver. Give them a hug. Remember, it's the month of self-love. See you all next week with our guests from the American Association of Caregiving Youth. Really excited. Hope to see you all next week. Thanks for joining. Aloha. Bye.